ultimate ultralight camper. Alright, first up, little disclosure, Trailmaster did give me a bit of a discount when I bought this camper. They didn't ask for anything in return, they just knew I was a YouTuber, and I didn't tell them I was going to publicise it or do anything. I just basically bought it, and I don't owe them anything, so this is about as honest as review as I can give you. Why did I buy it though? Well, we've been doing a lot of trips with the patrol and the caravan, which is great, but I feel like, especially in lockdown time, I've been everywhere that I can base camp. It's time to start stretching my legs, taking the pod with me so we can go from place to place to place. And I needed something that was going to be as light as possible. That was very important, and it's important with everything I do with my car actually. So I wanted it light, have full dry prow so it's not going to fall apart on the tracks, and pretty much go anywhere that my car can take it. The tent had to be something that could fit at least me and 2 kids. Sharon's not a massive fan, so I think it's just going to be the 3 of us going away when we take this. But she will come, and when Sharon does come along, we'll go up here because there's ample room, and the kids can just take swags or something like that. I also didn't want to stuff around too much. I wanted good lighting. I didn't want to have to rock up to camp and then level everything out. That's why I've got the air suspension. I wanted heaps of power. I didn't want to run out of power, and where possible I was going to try not to have to carry a gas bottle. Let's look at how the weight started out. When this was delivered to me, it was 540 kilos without the tent, and it can go up to a maximum of 1250 kilos. Now I've tested this with all of my gear, probably about 150 kilos of firewood, and it weighs in at like 1 ton, so I've still got room to spare. So weight wise, I've got a go anywhere camper with heaps of storage that's a ton or less. Alright, now here's the setup. I'll time lapse it and I'll come back and tell you approximately how long it took. Yes, I know I stuffed the ladder bit up, and I know you're going to pick on me for that. I'll go fix it. So there you go, besides a couple of guy ropes, that's it, maybe 5 minutes. Now if I do have the kids come along and they do go on the swags, I'm going to need to put them under cover as well. You know, the swag's alright. But I had a Darchie awning left over from my Y62. They don't really suit the Y62 because of the tailgate, so why not put it on here? I'll set it up for you. Got heaps of awning room as well. Who showed up? Oh, you're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna get me in trouble. This is what I want to show you. The divider. How good is that? Next I want to show you some of the electrical side of this camper, but first we're going to boil some water up from the 60 litre tank. And as it's starting to boil on the induction cooktop, I'll show you the electrical system. Okay, under this front little toolbox we have a 200 amp hour DCS battery charged by the Red Arc 40 amp BCDC. This side is kind of the 12 volt side. This is running all my lights, and I've got power running up to the tent. This is for charging, USBs, Anderson cigarette lighter. Lots of fuses when you're talking about this much power, because of the elephant in the room is this multi-plus 3 kilowatt inverter charger. So not only will that put out 3 kilowatts of power, more than enough for induction cooking, but if I want to plug it in to 240 volt, this will charge my DCS battery at 90 amps. So this is a killer electrical little box. While we're here, I'll give you a little sneak peek of the Airbag Man air control kit, and that all runs. I didn't really feel I need to have a compressor because there's one in the car, but that all runs off this 11 litre Airbag Man tank as well. So I can put enough air in that to put the airbags up and down, I don't know, 4 or 5 times probably, and then I just recharge it with a car or a Nitto fitting at the workshop. So I've turned the Victron Multi-Plus on, and that's now running our little 2 kilowatt inverter. If I wanted to, I've got a second one which I can run next to it and put them both down to 900 watt or 1500 watt, I believe, and I can actually run both of them at the same time to cook 2 things at once. You've got to get some special saucepans and frying pans for using induction cooking. If you don't have them, you can get this little metal bit here, so that is boiling to touch. And I've found, so with that 200 amp hour battery, when I do these cook-ups just using one cooker, it knocks about 10% out of the battery every time I do a cook-up. So there is solar connected to my car, big 330 watt panel on the roof, so that charges the battery through the BCDC. There is a solar input off the BCDC as well, and I did order a 100 watt Dun & Watson, it's like a fridge slide with a solar panel into it, and that's going to be mounted up underneath. It arrived during the week, but it was damaged sadly, so I can't show you. Hopefully another one arrives before the full drive show next weekend, and I can have it all fitted up, because well, I probably won't take this to the Adelaide show because Sharon's coming, or to take the van, but when I go to Perth, I'm going to be living out of this camper for 2.5 weeks, so my daily vlogs will start again, and I'm going to be heading over to Perth for the 4x4 camping show. I'll take the camper into the show, so if you guys want to see it, you can come and have a look, and do another Y62 event as well while I'm there. So whenever I want to look at what's happening with my battery, I go to the DCS app. I always refresh it. There's my 200 amp hour, and we're cooking away. It says that we're doing 900 watts on the induction cooktop. It must be clicking on and off now, because it must have come up to temp. As you can see, it's pulling 580 watts, 400, so it's clicking in and out. Just for the sake of it, I'm going to go and press the 1500 watt and then 2000 watt, see if we can really get this cranking. That's 1500 watt now, and you can see there's solar coming in too. I'm going to crank the watts right up now. So I've just put it on its basically highest setting, and yeah, the net value is 127 amps. It's pulling 1600 watts, and if I keep doing this with my stated charge at 59%, I got 55 minutes cooking time. Now, you wouldn't do this. Basically, you get it to temperature and then you turn everything down. I'll do that now. So if I purely just want to boil water, it's chugging away. Net value after my solar, 26 amps. I can live with that. Here we go, just for proof of what's going on. We have boiling water. And it's just sitting, I've got it set at 120 degrees Celsius, 900 watts. This is looking to be a pretty good, robust setup, and it means I don't have to carry gas if I don't want to. Don't have to worry about wind blowing things out. It's just power for days between the car and the 200 amp hour battery. The only thing I'd like to do is probably, you know, do a roast, but I think, you know, if fire permits, I'll just cook it on an open fire. You're probably getting the gist that most things about this camper I really quite like. If the weather comes in, I've got a whole room that comes in under the 23.0 tent. I've got rooms to go around the Darchie awning, and it gives me a lot of space, so I can definitely get out of the weather if I need to. I can't say everything's perfect with this camper though, so I'll show you the good and the bad of what I like about this, just so you can see it all. I haven't got all my gear in here at the moment, but when I do, you access it by pulling this lid up. That's fine. Everything usually resides in here. There's heaps of room, and I can use it as a trailer when I don't have my gear in there. But when I'm getting to my gear, over here, I've got to get my head in here. And, you know, that's kind of tricky to get stuff down that end. A big drawer system I might do one day, but the idea of this trailer, the way I sold it to Sharon, is if I want to use it as a trailer, I can, because I can get everything out of it, and I don't want to put a drawer system in it. One little downside. So you've got to do, well, anytime you have a rooftop tent, there's a lot of climbing involved, and that's just the way it is. So if you don't want to climb around the trailer, don't buy one of these or a rooftop tent. Go buy one of the traditional sort of camper trailers. But I'll show you just a little step thing that could have been improved. On the back of the wheel arch here, this step is really useful. I find I'm using that all the time. When you go over the other side though, there's nothing. If I could just have a step there, that would be perfect. Just so I could undo zips and everything else. Only a small thing, but it'll just make it much more usable. This jockey wheel, this is rubbish. I don't really like this. It's annoying. It's hard to use, it doesn't wheel properly, it's geared for like a full driving sort of trailer, but so you have to turn that little handle a billion times before it actually does anything. I think I'm going to weld a nut on here and use like an air ratchet or you know, a rattle gun to get the jockey wheel to behave a bit better. I must admit, that's kind of the extent of the bad stuff. Everything else I love. It's so lightweight, easy to tow, it's braked. I'll show you the view out of the reversing camera when you're sitting in the car. You can see right through everything behind the trailer, so it doesn't obscure the view behind you. So you can see right behind. It's awesome. So I guess the last bit is showing the lighting system. I've been using these safari lights in the car, the Y62, for a while now. So I've scattered them all around the camper too with a little switch panel, and it works a treat. When it gets dark a bit later, I'll show you what that looks like too. I guess the only issue with the Safari stuff, it's IP22 rated, so it's not really for weatherproofing outdoor sort of uses, but I'm going to give it a go because I really love the product.
You should try, Ashley. Oh, you took my thing. I have to jump from this little one. Okay. Okay, I've got a new trick for him.
Show us the trick, Kashi. I don't know if you can see this, it's starting to get mozzies buzzing around up here. So it's time to go from white to amber. Nice. Alright. That should make quite the difference.